Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we've got a beer that I think should be really quite interesting. I'm quite excited for this one actually. So this beer is half Swedish, half Scottish, and it involves one of my favourite Scottish breweries and also one of my favourite Swedish breweries. So for the Swedish side of things we're going to head up towards Gothenburg, Udder as you'd say in Swedish, and we're having a taste of another beer from Beerbliotek. And this is a collaboration that they did with 6 Degrees North, who are from Stonehaven, just near Aberdeen, where I used to study chemistry. And of course, according to the Beerbliotek number system, this is number 219. It's called Better Late Than Never, coming in at 6.8%. It's a New England style IPA, this one, and it's got Styrian Wolf, Citra and Equinaut in it, so some really good hops. Styrian Wolf actually is one of my favourite hops, you know, the Slovenian hop that gives you these lovely kind of melony flavours. So I've not seen that in too many New England IPAs. If I remember rightly actually, this might well be the first New England IPA that I've tried that one in. The ones that I tried, the beers that I tried from Slovenia that Davor sent me, I'm pretty sure they were West Coast type IPAs rather than New England. So really looking forward to this. Two of my favourite breweries, like I said, and it's cool to have another sort of Swedish-Scottish collaboration. So yeah, looking forward to this one. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the breweries. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery websites, the link to my other reviews that I've done, both from Beerbliotek and from 6 Degrees North as well. No doubt I will add more to both in the fairly near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers for different countries. There is one there both for the Scottish beers that are reviewed and for the Swedish beers. This one will of course appear in both of those, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Beerbliotek first off then, we'll start with the home brewery in this case. So Beerbliotek, this brewery, as I mentioned to you, are based in Gothenburg, Göteborg as you'd say in Swedish, and it was founded back in 2013 by a multinational group of friends. So this is Adam Norman, who's from Australia, Richard Bull, who's from New Zealand, Anders Hedlund, who is a Swede, and Daryl De Necker, who comes from South Africa. So Adam and Richard ran Bar Doppio in Gothenburg, while Daryl and Anders were regular customers at the bar, and they often just used to sit and chat away about beer. And so one day they decided to buy a kit and actually brew their own. So the original brewery is in the old Klippan Sugar building, which is a really nice old building very close to the old Carnegie Brewery in Gothenburg, which was one of the quite famous companies actually of the city. But their brew kit is from Brewfab in Scotland, and in their first year apparently they brewed 38 different varieties of beer, and all their beers were brewed in very, very small batches, and they basically wanted just to kind of stick to their home brewing roots of rarely brewing the same beer. So they really kind of have no fixed range, although there are beers that they brew more regularly than others, right enough, and they're always just experimenting with lots of different hops and different malts and things like this. In 2015 though, they opened a second brewery in Kungston, which is where they also have their tap room, and they run their main brewing operations there. The old brewery is now just used for producing sour beers, and they're also working on a barrel aging project as well in the new brewery as well. But the idea behind the name Beerbliotek is basically that they want to brew a wide variety of beers so that their customers and themselves are always learning about something new. Basically they want to make a library of beer, so that's why they always have these different numbers here, and the numbers do seem to jump around a bit. Like I say, sometimes they re-release beers that they've done before, quite often they're brewing new ones and things like that. I'm sure I've actually had beers that have been numbered higher than 219 from Beerbliotek. I might be imagining things, but I'm sure I've had beers that have been numbered higher than this. But it should be a really it should be a really interesting beer, this one. As I say, I'm not sure if this is the first release of this. This beer, of course, was released on the 1st of October in 2018 through Systembolaget here in Sweden, but I know that they very recently did 2 collaboration beers together. I'm not sure if we'll get the second one over here in Sweden. Maybe I'll have to get that back in Scotland, of course. But yeah, Beerbliotek, like I said, one of my favourite breweries. Probably the best thing about Beerbliotek, or a good way to describe them, is with these guys, when they're brewing so many different different beers, the fact that they always put things out there that are of such a high quality, that's what I find very, very impressive about Beerbliotek. So if you get the chance to try some of the beers from Beerbliotek, I really recommend that you do. And if you come to Sweden, Gothenburg is the place that you really want to go to try all the different craft beers. But yeah, that's all you need to know about them just now. If you want to learn a little bit more, check out the brewery website in the description below, and you can follow them on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like this. So on to the last part of my brewery notes then. 6 Degrees North, on to the Scottish side of things. So 6 Degrees North are a Belgian style brewery that are based in Stonehaven, to the south of the city of Aberdeen in Scotland, which of course was where I used to study chemistry. So the origins of this brewery go back to the Marine Hotel in the Stonehaven Marina, and the owner of the company, Bob, apparently spent a lot of time in Belgium and just fell in love with Belgian beer, and so decided to brew his own. But the main construction of this brewery was undertaken in August of 2012, and then the equipment was delivered over the next few months, with the first trial brews taking place in January of 2013, and then the first official commercial brews began in March of that year. They opened their first pub in Aberdeen in May 2013. I was there on the opening night for that as well, and it was pretty good. I don't remember all that much of it, and then a week later I went in with my friend, drank a few of the Belgian beers. At that point I didn't realise how kind of strong Belgian beer was. Went outside, the pavement was moving, it was a very funny weekend that. But later on they've opened up their bars in Edinburgh and Glasgow as well, and all of the pubs stock a huge array of Belgian beer bottles, and they've also got a lot of tap beers as well. Their own beers are very, very good. Probably one of my favourite ones from them actually is was the Four Saisons. That was one I always used to enjoy. The Chopper Stout's another one that's pretty good, a Belgian style stout, and it was the Wanderlust, which was a wheat beer, if I remember correctly, the Belgian wit. And really it was, to have a Belgian style brewery in Scotland, I thought was very, very cool. And I always find their beers very interesting because they taste like the Belgian ones, of course, but they've got the water quality in Stonehaven is very, very good, so you can really get that nice Highland sort of Highland Speyside water type feel to them. You always get this nice kind of minerally quality to the beers there as well, which I think is really nice. But 6 Degrees North, like I said, one of my favourite breweries in Scotland. They're not the most prolific brewery, that though, I would say, although I think they have been up in their production and doing a lot more different things recently. But yeah, it's another one I need to get back and review a good few more of their beers, because it's been a while actually since I've done a dedicated review to 6 Degrees North. So that's one to keep an eye out for. The next time I go to Scotland, I will make sure to get a hold of some of their beers and review them for you. But yeah, another very, very good Scottish brewery. I've reviewed maybe 7 or 8 beers involving them now, and yeah, one that you definitely want to check out. So yeah, that's all you really need to know about 6 Degrees North. If you want to learn a little bit more, check out the brewery website in the description below. You can follow them on Facebook, and of course if you are in Scotland, in Aberdeen, Edinburgh, Glasgow, or indeed you can go to the Marine Hotel in Stonehaven and try some of their beers. They are really pretty good. But yeah, let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself then. So I'll just get rid of the notes there, and we can have a little look at this. So this one comes in at 6.8%. As I said, it's a New England IPA. It says on the side here, travelling to different countries and making new friends is all how it started. And finally, our friends from 6 Degrees North came over to Sweden to brew with us. Our second collaboration is a New England IPA with Styrian Wolf which is from Slovenia, of course, Citra and Equinox, which are from America. So yeah, really nice, this one. I like the way the artwork is on this. I might keep this can actually, because I always like it when you get half Swedish, half Scottish beers. But yeah, that's really, really nicely presented, this one. I do like how it kind of comes across. Well, maybe I'll keep the label rather than the can right enough. But the one thing I always like about the Beerbliotek ones as well is that they put Swedish craft beer on it. You don't see that many people putting the Swedish flag on the things, but I think that is very, very cool. But yeah, nicely presented beer, this one. The artwork is the kind of typical style of Beerbliotek, of course. But without further ado, let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting then. So yeah. Oh, you can smell some of these lovely fruits here. Like I said, this beer was released on the 1st of October 2018 through Systembolaget over here in Sweden. I'm not sure if we'll get the other collaboration that these guys did recently, because I'm sure I read on Facebook that it was 2 that they did. But hopefully I can get a hold of the second one at some point soon and review that for you. So yeah, as you can see with this one, it's poured a nice kind of hazy orange kick colour. If I hold this one up to the light, I think it's definitely a sort of hazy, medium orange, this beer. It looks very, very nice. Some of the fruity notes coming off this beer are just fantastic. You can see there's a half finger of a frothy, I would say perfect white head on this one. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and a few little ones just heading up towards the bottom of that head there. But you know, overall it does look pretty damn nice, I have to say. So yeah, pretty much exactly what you would expect for this style. So yeah, let's take a closer look at the aroma then and just see how we get on with this one. Oh yeah. It's the fruitiness in this beer is just absolutely beautiful. It really is very, very nice. Yeah. I'm interested to see with this beer as well whether it's going to be like a Belgian yeast New England IPA or something like that, or if it's going to be like mixed yeast strains. I'm very, very curious to see how this one turns out. But yeah, with this one, definitely nice melony notes coming out of this one. And that's the Styrian Wolf. There's some really nice high alpha acid hops coming from Slovenia, but obviously Slovenia is geographically, it's a very, very small country, so there's not that you know, there's not that many different there's not that much volume of these hops produced, but the Styrian Wolf is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful hop. I think it's quite hard for brewers to get a hold of it actually. But yeah, it smells absolutely lovely. So definitely a bit of mango in there from the Citra as well. You can get the limey notes from the Equinox too. But yeah, it's melons, mangoes and limes coming out of this beer all the way. There's definitely a little bit of a kind of lychee or gooseberry or something like that on the back end of this one. That's the kind of one of the more kind of complexities, little complex notes of the Citra, I think. But yeah, you can smell the lime kind of underneath it, but I think it's the melon and the mangoes are coming out quite nicely. The lime's got quite a strong kind of undertone, if you like, but I think the juiciness mainly is coming from the mangoes and the melons. There's those Styrian Wolf and Citra at the top, and then the Equinox just a little bit underneath. And as I said, there's a definite bit of lychee or gooseberry or something like that. That's the Citra complexities coming out of this one. In terms of the kind of floral grassy side of things with this one, yeah, it's got a little bit of a floral quality, but I'm finding this one to be a little bit more grassy in terms of that. But yeah, it smells lovely, this. There's a good yeasty presence to this one. When it's 6 degrees north that are involved, you would kind of expect that. So for me, there is almost a little bit, you can definitely get the big oaty creaminess out of this one. There's some of that wheaty, white bready smoothness in there too. I'm trying to just pick up if there's any of the sort of Belgian doughy notes, and I think there might be a little touch of it or something in there. But yeah, I think it's not too obvious in the aroma if they've used a sort of Belgian yeast in this one. But yeah, definitely oaty notes and a little bit of biscuit, I think, as well. And some kind of white, wheaty bready notes to this beer as well. So it's kind of like, it's something that you, it's not really got anything surprising of the style, if you like. This beer, it's really nice, the aroma's really juicy and fruity, and it's got everything you'd expect from the New England IPA, but it's not anything surprising for the style, if you like. But let's have a taste of this one. I'm very, very curious about this. So this is the Better Late Than Never, 219 according to Beerbliotek's numbering system, a collaboration between Beerbliotek from Göteborg here in Sweden and 6 degrees north from Stonehaven, just outside of Aberdeen in Scotland. Let's get stuck into this one. A 6.8% New England style IPA. Slanja, skål. Ooh, that's pretty nice. Yeah, that's a good beer. I'll say straight away, from the flavour straight away, it's not got a Belgian yeast or anything in it. It is a straight up kind of New England style IPA, this one. It's interesting to see as well though that you know, 6 degrees north are collaborating on that side. You know, you would have thought when these guys are coming together, it would have been a Belgian style beer that they would have brewed. Yeah, so this beer, first thing you're going to notice about it, I think, is how clean it is. It feels like a very, very clean beer, if that makes sense. And that, I think, I always remember the 6 degrees north beers being like that, the way the mouthfeel comes out, so I think that's maybe a little bit of their influence in there. But this is really nice. It's a very easy drinking beer, this one. So yeah, as you would kind of expect then, the malt base in this, you can feel a little bit of that pale malt just blanket the middle of your palate there. On top of that, you get that nice kind of wheaty smoothness in there. The wheaty flavours I think come out a little bit more in the aftertaste rather than anything else. So yeah, definitely a little bit of a wheaty quality to this one. Some nice kind of oaty, creamy notes to the beer as well. A little bit of biscuit sweetness I think in the middle of the palate as well. And I mean, what I would say generally about this beer, it's not one that does anything surprising for the style, but it's well done, and you can't really ask for much more than that. It says it's a New England IPA. It gives you everything you want from the style, and it's it's obviously a well done beer. That, so as I say, you can't really ask for much more than that from this one. And it's nice. It's a nice beer. This one, I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink it again. I'll say that straight away. Yeah, and I would stick with what I was saying about this one. It comes across very clean, and then as you go further into the aftertaste, you start to get more of the oaty notes coming out of this one. You start to get the bready, the kind of wheaty, bready qualities in there as well. Onto the hoppy side of things with this beer though, back corners of the palate, there's a little tiny touch of earthiness there. Then as you come further forward on the side of your palate, it just smooths out a little bit. Then you get a little touch of a kind of floral note in the front corners of the palate. Then round the very front curve of the tongue, it's just a little bit lighter and grassy, I would say. And then behind that front curve of the palate, you've got that nice oily bubble where the juicy, fruity esters come out of the beer. But overall, it's really nice, this one. And the way that fruits are going together in this is really interesting. So I think it's starting off with a bit of the limey qualities. The strongest fruit that you're going to have in this one, I think, is the lime. So it's the equinox, I think, that's kind of forming the backbone of the fruity part of this beer. But then as I say, as you go further into the aftertaste, you get a bit of the mangoes. I think there might be a little touch of grapefruit in this one as well. And sometimes, depending on what you mix Citra with, you can get a little touch of grapefruit out of it. But mainly it's a mango-y hop, I find. So I think there's a little touch of grapefruit just towards the back of the front of the palate there. It's the limes from the equinox that are kind of lingering there as well. They come out, I think, into the aftertaste as well. But you've got the mangoes and the melons are coming out just a little bit towards the front of the palate as well, which is really interesting. Yeah, this one, it's got a good little bit of fruit complexity to it, like I was saying. A little bit of grapefruit, a little bit of limes there, they're forming the backbone of the beer. Mangoes on top of that, and then the melons are coming out as you go further into the aftertaste. There is a little touch of right on the tip of the tongue, I think there's a little touch of a kind of lychee, gooseberry sort of thing going on there. But like I said, this is a really nice beer. It's, as I said, it's not doing anything surprising for the style, but it's one of these ones that's just really well done. And when you've got these two breweries involved, you know, Beerbliotek do some awesome stuff, 6 Degrees North do some awesome stuff as well. It's just well done. You wouldn't expect anything less from these guys. You know, you really wouldn't. Overall, it's one that I definitely would drink again. I hope this is one that they brew again in the future. But you know, as I always say with Beerbliotek, you never know. Sometimes the beer will come back. Sometimes it won't. They have got beers that they've brewed a few different batches of, but I think this one is really nice. So a thumbs up from me for this one, and it is cool to see them collaborating as well with Scottish breweries. It'd be cool to see them do a collaboration with like Tempest as well, or Cromarty Brewing. I think that would be really interesting. 71 Brewing in Dundee, of course, would be an interesting one as well. There's quite a few new little microbreweries popping up in Scotland that are doing some really good quality stuff. In terms of the mouthfeel of this beer then, I would say it's yeah, this one, mid-bodied, at the lower end of mid-bodied. Carbonation is very, very smooth on this one. It's got a little bit of an oily mouthfeel to it. It's got a kind of minerally quality to it as well, I think. And as I said, I think that's the in a way, it wouldn't really make sense to say that, but I've always found that the 6 Degrees North beers are very clean, but when they're brewing this one in Gothenburg, as they've obviously done going by the can, it's strange how that kind of transfers over to the Swedish one. I find that quite funny actually, but yeah, it's got a bit of an oily mouthfeel to it, this one. It has got a little touch of the creaminess of the New England IPAs, but it's nowhere near as creamy as some of the ones that I've had before. It's a very clean New England style IPA, this. In terms of the IBUs, the hoppy side of things, it's got a little bit of bitterness to it, but I think you'd be lucky if it's 30 IBUs in this one. This, for me, is really low in terms of its IBUs. The malt base, like I said, very, very smooth, a little bit of sweetness coming out of it. There's a little line of biscuit down the middle of your palate there, and you know, the oaty creaminess is coming out a little bit, but it's not the creamiest of New England IPAs that you're going to come across. Mainly a smooth malt base, this one, and a lot of juicy fruity quality in there. You've got some of the darker fruits from this, like I said, the limes and the grapefruits, and then you get the juicier ones, the melons, the mangoes, and a little bit of the lychee and stuff like that as well. So overall, it's a really nicely done beer, this, and I'm glad that I was able to review this one for you here on the channel. So yeah, have a look at it and for yourself and see what you think. I'm not sure if this is going to be one of the regular releases through Systembolaget, but if it is, you know, it's a very, very solid New England IPA. And I think I only paid like 30 crowns for this, something like that, maybe 35 crowns. So it's a good value New England IPA, this one, 6.8%. You know, there's no alcohol warmth to this or anything. It's very, very easy drinking, I would say. So yeah, have a go at this one. Two very good breweries involved with that. If you're interested, if you're in Sweden, if you're interested in Scottish beer, 6 Degrees North, in my opinion, are one of the breweries that you definitely want to check out. But yeah, pardon me, really interesting beer, this one, and it's cool to see two of my favourite breweries collaborating together. So let's leave it at that. So once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are, both from 6 Degrees North and from Beerbliotek, of course. And yeah, hopefully I can get a hold of the other collaboration that these guys did recently. So this was number 219 from Beerbliotek, the Better Late Than Never, a collaboration with 6 Degrees North from Stonehaven in Scotland. So a half Scottish, half Swedish beer, and I thought it was very, very good. So until the next time, it's Landon just now, and I will catch you guys later. Skål!